Hey, people, happy Thursday. Welcome in the building. It's May 8th. It's Thursday and it's trending topics. I haven't been here in a couple nights, but I was a little busy, but I'm here tonight and we got stuff to talk about. So the title for tonight's trending topics is called So Messy. So Messy. You know, the amount of individuals, and Shannon Sharp kind of lucked up because some other stories were popping up and his is kind of getting, dying down a little bit. But what is with these celebrities feeling like they could just take advantage of people? Now, many people, they don't know what to believe. A lot of people right now, they're leaning on the side of Smokey Robinson. But although I got questions for the Jane Does 1, 2, 3, and 4, I don't think they're lying. I don't. This man, the Daily Mail called him Smokey Robinson. The Daily Mail called him. He was stuttering, uttering. He was incoherent at times. Talking about he appalled. You got 4 ex-employees accusing you of the most, and that's the best you got? I would have been like, they all a lie if they was lying on me. I would have been like, I was good to Jane Doe 1, 2, 3, and 4, and now they lying on me because they want my money. Their lawyers did a press conference today. And you know what? The world is different today. I was saying, why file as a Jane Doe? Then you going to show up at the press conference. I mean, where they do that at? You file your lawsuit as a Jane Doe because you want to keep your identity private, but then you physically show up to a press conference. I was like, is it me? This don't make no sense to me. But that's what they're doing nowadays. So they had on glasses, a mask covering their face. I guess they had on wigs. I don't know, but I don't know. It was wild to me. I was like, why, what are we doing here? Y'all Jane Does, and your lawyer said we want to do a press conference, and y'all show up, and your disguise is some glasses, I guess, wigs, and a mask coming. The world is different now. And let me tell you this too. That's why these lawyers shouldn't have did no press conference, because they wasn't ready either. What is going on with the lawyers not being ready? One of the people in the press, the news, they was like, why not criminal charges? The lawyers stumbled, fumbled, and mumbled. Because that's the question we all want to know respectfully. The statute of limitations is not up. One of them just got violated, according to them, in 2024. They said, why not criminal charges? The lawyer danced all around that, and we thinking about it. No, go to the po-po. Go to the police. So messy. Then we got workers going wild. I keep telling people, but listen, y'all got to tell the people to tune in to Diva, because every now and then I give Diva tips. I keep telling people, everybody in the world has a recorder in their hands. I seen this little kid in the supermarket the other day. The little kid, I don't know, I don't really know electronics like that, but it looked like that little kid had the latest iPhone. A little kid, he was yay high. That kid couldn't have been more than 6, 7, 8. The little kid had the cell phone. I mean, what? I think now, probably at these people baby showers, probably on the baby shower list is like cell phone for my kid, for my newborn. This is crazy. But everybody got one. So these fired Frontier agents, They mocking the customer, and now they ain't got no job. It's rough out there for people. I know some people say they've been looking for a job for months. And you got a job, and you acting a whole fool on the job. And again, I'm going to say this respectfully. It's one thing to be ghetto. It's another thing to be ghetto on the job. Now, because she didn't let the man on the plane, now she jobless. I wonder how they feeling now. Then we're going to talk Diddy's trial. Because we got to. It started Monday. And so many things has happened. But now, first they was looking for victim number 3, the prosecutors. See, I'm going to need the prosecutors to get their act together. But I'm a key because, every now and then I got to be petty. I got to rub it in. I told y'all from the minute they raided their house, they didn't have enough evidence. I told y'all that way back when. And the people wanted to beat me down with a stick. I told y'all they didn't have no celebrity sex tapes or no minor sex tapes. Because if they did, they would have told us that. That would have been the first thing they would have blasted all over. Told you that. But now it seems like they ain't even got no witnesses besides Cassie. And Cassie pregnant. I don't know how this going to go over this thing. And I'm going to say this. I don't think Cassie wanted this thing to go where it went. She didn't want it to get to this level. But once you open Pandora's box, you can't close it. Cassie just wanted her check. So her husband and the 2 kids at the time, now about to be 3, can go live their best life. Cassie was used to living that life. And respectfully, she wasn't making any music. So, she figured, let me get it from her ex-boyfriend. Husband said, let's ask for $30 million. That's all they wanted was their money. But now she's tied up in this mess, and the prosecution, they want her to be their star witness. And then all of a sudden, Cassie was pregnant. And I ain't mad at her. What is it going to look like? Let's be serious. What is it going to look like? You got the pregnant woman coming up there, and I will waddle my way in there. I need sympathy. They asked me a hard question where I know I could possibly incriminate myself. I'm going to act like the baby kicked me. Oh! I ain't doing all that. That's what I would do if I was Cassie. Cassie good and pregnant. I don't even know if she's going to make it to the stand. So that's victim number 1 that the prosecution got, right? Cassie. Without Cassie, they dead underwater. Then they got victim 3. First, they was telling the judge, we don't know where she at. She missing. We can't find a lawyer. We can't find her. Now come to find out, victim number 3 has spoken out to somebody and said, I ain't never told that prosecution I was going to help them. They said victim 3 was never cooperating. So how did they get victim 3 on the list? You know what it sounds like to me? The prosecution over there doing a Tony Busby. Tony Busby had thousands of clients. He had minors. The one minor was 10. It was craziness. It was chaos. And we kept asking Tony, where are the minors? So he come up with that girl. Then he add Jay-Z to it. And now Jay-Z is on his behind. Jay-Z won $200 million from Tony. The prosecution is over there straight up doing a Tony Busby. What do you mean? Victim 3 says she was never cooperating with y'all. Now, I don't know what channels victim 3 is sending the message, but victim 3 said she don't even care. She get a subpoena. She ain't coming. I don't know how this thing works because, the law is different now. The law is different. The streets is different now. You got lawyers doing press conferences with theatrics. And now you got witnesses talking about I ain't coming. Well, I didn't know you could refuse. And how you get a subpoena? You like I ain't showing up. Where they do that at? Well, victim 3 is doing it. Listen, people, y'all know what I need in that chat. I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Thursday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. It's called So Messy. We got Smokey Robinson, Accusers spoke out. We got the Fire Frontier agents, and we got Diddy trial. It seemed to be falling apart. That's you. I thought it was, you know what? Well, I did a video when they kept saying, trying to say who the victims was. I did a video way back, and I said Young Miami was one of them. I really felt Young Miami is one of them. But I'm like, Young Miami got too much footprint on these social media streets, talking about how she liked it, she loved it, and how she was getting $300K a month as an allowance. So how do you now say you was a victim when you was smiling on everybody podcast talking about you like golden showers and all kind of other stuff? That's why she probably said, I ain't never tell them nothing. Who told them I was coming? I got to bring the people on in the building. Hold on. Hey, in my opinion. Hey, Leo. Hey, Felicia. Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, Katrina. Hey, Julius.
Hey, y'all, hit the like button. Let's get Diva to 40K, shall we?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Julius. Hit that like button, people, because I'm in the building. I'm working tonight, and it's a lot of work that I'm doing here. And all y'all got to do is hit the like button. Listen, people, we're going to start out with this Fire Frontier agents. The workers now, they different. They going to tell you, you ask them, you go in the store, you be like, where can I find the skirts? Over there where? I'm used to back in the day, you don't walk the people over there to the skirts. You say, do you see what you want? Can I help you? Call me. My name is so-and-so. If you need something else, call me. Now they don't give a dog. Oh, walk over there. Let's get into this story. Hold on 1 second. It's a different day, y'all, different times. So Frontier Airlines agents, they fired for mocking customer, and you thought you was going to get on your flight. That's what came out her mouth. She was dead serious.
Like you did, and you think you're gonna check me in? I bet you we won't. Okay?
I paid for a ticket.
And you didn't pay $25 for agent assist fee, and you checked in 3 hours later. Hello.
I just said that I
get on your flight.
Yeah, I just said that I would pay the $25.
And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight.
I literally paid for a ticket. I'm here 30 minutes. I'm here 30 minutes before my flight, and they're not letting me check in.
And you're not getting on your flight.
Because it's a policy. We don't control that.
And you will never fly.
You were about to let me check in. You were about to let me check in. And you decided that you ain't gonna let me check in.
Make me check you in.
You literally work for a company that I bought a plane ticket for. I'm here 30 minutes before the flight.
Can you please leave, sir?
No.
Can you please leave my personal space?
I'm not in your personal space. This is not your personal space.
This is my stationery.
This is not your personal space. You work for a company. This is not your personal space.
We ain't not worried about it. We ain't not worried about it.
You don't have to worry about it. You're literally not doing your job for a customer that has paid for a plane ticket to get home.
I told you to stop putting the camera on me, sir.
I'm literally here at Frontier. I bought a ticket and they are not letting me check in. For no reason whatsoever.
Well, you said you're never flying the airline again, so we might as well help you out and have you not fly the airline.
I've already bought a ticket. I've literally already bought a ticket, and this is your reaction.
Ooh, child. And listen, all of them participated. I wonder if every last one of them got fired. A couple of check-in desk agents got terminated from their gigs with Frontier Airlines after mocking a customer who was trying to check in for his flight, getting the boot after the video of their tense exchange went viral. Footage circulating online shows a Frontier customer trying to check in at a ticket counter for a flight from North Carolina to Boston, and things go south when the agents mention a $25 fee to check in with them in person. The guy balks at the fee, and the Frontier employee starts arguing, refusing to check him in, mocking him and repeatedly telling him, "And you thought you was going to get on your flight." He had already whipped out his phone to document the incident last Friday, and the gate agent started recording him too, and things get nasty. Frontier Airlines tells TMZ, "We are aware of what occurred and have been directly in touch with the customer. The individuals in question who work for a third-party contractor are no longer associated with the Frontier account." The budget airline also tells us they refunded the man's original flight and reimbursed him for a different flight he booked to get home. This was a hot, stinking mess. In my opinion, your thoughts?
And they thought they were gonna get to keep their job. Listen here. You cannot treat your job like it's your own personal, own personal playground. And for these people to feel like they were so bold to talk to this man like this, and you knew he was filming, did you actually think he wasn't gonna upload it? Like, it makes no sense. These people are so ignorant. And so now you sitting at home and you ain't got no job. Now how you gonna pay your bills? You was trying to act a donkey, and now they acting a donkey on you. So you know what? You get what you get.
Child, thank you. In my opinion, Leo, your thoughts?
When I read, because you initially brought this to the people earlier today, so I had caught the clip at work. And so when in the article, did it say it was from, they did not work directly for Frontier?
Correct.
So for me being in the staffing industry, I did the temporary staffing or whatever. And so what I know is that that is how temps act. The reason why they were so extra is because they don't work for Frontier. They work for the temp agency. Just because they got fired from that job doesn't mean that they won't be able to go and work someplace else. Usually that's how it works. Now, this probably has gone so viral that they may have fired them, but that's not, it's 50-50 on that. The reason why they literally did not care is because they did not care. They don't work for Frontier. I've seen worse. They literally don't care. And that's a shame for Frontier. Because they are a budget airline, they probably do have a lot of temporary staffing within that industry. And just be prepared for even more stuff, to go on like that if they're a budget airline. Because really, yeah, that was way too much. And you know what? I give him, kudos to him. 10s all the way around, because Diva, I can tell you straight up, Leo would have lost it. Okay. Leo would have lost it.
When you ready to go home, you ready to go home. But see, what I learned with those budget airlines, yeah, you get on the plane cheap, but everything is a fee. Everything is a fee. Your bag is a fee. You want to do this is a fee. That's a fee. That's a fee. And by the time you finish with them fees, you might as well have took United.
And then you got to read the room too, because really, I don't want no problems. Basically, what I want to do is get my ticket, get on my plane, and get to where I need to get. And if I find it's an extra fee, look, I may be in my mind cussing, but I'm gonna go ahead on and get in the car because I really don't want no problems. I'm trying to get to where I'm going.
That part, exactly. That part. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Hello, chat. Hello, panel. Hello, Diva. I was just going to say that, even though they was nasty as customer service, but they were following the rule. He didn't want to pay the money. And if he probably would have paid, they probably would have let him get on the flight. So they was doing their job, but the way they did their job was totally nasty. That's the thing. And you're right, Leo. They working for an outside contractor. They can always go get another job. Maybe they can be out there in the field picking blueberries for $11 an hour, 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. Who knows? But I'm just saying, the way they did it, they was following the rules, but they could have did it in a better way. They didn't show no customer service. They didn't try to appease him. They didn't try to do anything. But like you said, you got Spirit. Yeah, you fly Spirit, but I ain't finna become one. But you got so many fees on Spirit. When you go, they think they're getting a cheap flight. You gotta pay for baggage. You gotta pay for this. You gotta pay for carry on. You gotta pay for the seating. You gotta pay for so many everything. You know, like you said, you might well go ahead and fly Delta. But that was they customer service was off. And as Leo said again, they don't care because they know they're temps and they don't need that type of job because their customer service was off. Like Leo said, the guy should have just went on, paid $25 and got his ticket or whatsoever and went on with it because they was actually following the rules, but they could have handled it a better way. But that's all I got.
Thank you, Wayne.
Yeah, they could have handled it a better way. However, I'd have seen this before. And she was right as far as telling her delivery wasn't right. All other extra stuff wasn't right. Okay? Because you can't show up a half an hour before your flight. Now, if you done printed your ticket online and have a boarding pass, you can go right to the gate. But if you coming straight to the counter, a minimum time to check in is 45 minutes. And you try to check in a half an hour before, you cannot check in. That's why he had to go to the counter, because you can't check in less than 45 minutes before departure, because depending on the airport, there's not enough time for them to check you in and you get to the gate. So you already know it's going to be a problem, because they don't get there and they close the door. Now you're going to put people at the gate, the agents at the gate, when they closing that door. I'm coming. Let me on. Once you close that door, that's it. And let me tell you, they keep track of the flights on time departure. And if you book a reservation and on any flight, you can ask them, what's your on time departure? What time? All that. Because when they close the door to that plane, there's electronic signal that lets DOT know that that plane is on time. And the only way they're going to open up that door is if the pilot say open up the door. But on the most part, once we close that door and go down that jetway, you're not getting on. And they're not going to put usually pressure on the agents. Oh, we got somebody coming up. Now, granted, it's always an exception. Somebody, whatever, blah, 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 hey, look, I got somebody down here, this happened, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if you can, but I'm going to try to get them through and get them to the gate. So you got to push that check-in to get them in there and tell them just run, get to the gate. But it's no guarantee they're going to hold the door open, because if everybody has checked in and is boarded on that plane, you just might as well be prepared to catch the next flight, and you're not going to be confirmed on it. You're going to be on standby. Now, granted, these people was wrong. And not only that, if you're a contract employee, you ain't getting no benefits, and you're probably not in full time. You don't get no flight benefits. You ain't flying for free. And you sitting there, because I know where I work at, on one side, you got the people, and the people checking in on the kiosks and all that other stuff. And on the other side, we got where people checking luggage and stuff. So usually the contract workers are doing that. So yeah, you can't get up there and make fun of people. All she should have said, sir, the minimum check-in time is 45 minutes before departure. Okay, we cut it off. We don't open it back up. Now I could put you standby on the next flight, whatever. But at 30 minutes before departure, you wait. They really tell you get to the airport at least 2 hours before departure.
They do.
30 minutes, depending on the airport, is just not enough time to get from there to the gate. So they ain't lost nothing. They just gonna go back to the temporary to get a job someplace else. They really haven't lost anything if they contract employees. That's it. So no, I don't agree with what they did, the way they handled it. That was just totally ridiculous. But at the same time, she could have had that same conversation and with the man just say, sir, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I can't do that. Now, if they say, well, I want to speak to a supervisor, They want to speak to the supervisor. Sure, hold on one moment. Because now they out my face and they're in the supervisor's face, and I can get on to the next passenger. So I don't have no problem. No, I'm not going to tell them you want a supervisor, because I'm just going to give you the what we supposed to tell them. You know, if you're late, whatever, blah 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 blah. If you want to take it up with a supervisor, that's up to you. I can move on to somebody else, but I'm not going to sit up there and just have this drawn out conversation with you that you can't do this, all this stuff. It's unnecessary. And she could have had a little 2-bit job and she'd have kept her mouth shut. And all of them jumped in on it. All of them had something to say, which made it even worse. They know the rules. And they didn't have to jump in. All she had to do was just reiterate the rules. And if he asks for a supervisor, get him a supervisor and be done. And I'm done.
Thank you. Woo! Well, Rain done gave y'all the education. Catch it. Felicia, your thoughts? Okay, we lost Felicia. Felicia not there. Julius, your thoughts?
Those two women were completely unprofessional.
Mm-hmm.
Were completely unprofessional. And you could tell they do not have any kind of style or class or decorum. Because when the mocking started, that just showed that they were straight classes right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I had a day. I had to take a pause. Them women, yes, he should not have, and this is where he's wrong. You should get to the airport at least 2.5 to 3 hours before your flight. Now, even though I have a severe fear of heights, I have gone on a plane, and that was always the protocol. It says it in your ticket. It says it when you book your tickets. Please get to the airport at least 2.5 to 3 hours before departure. And I agree with Mr. Wayne in that. You don't get to the airport 30 minutes before your flight. You just don't do that. But them women were still unprofessional. They deliberately and purposely, of all areas, lacked decorum. And if that person asked to speak to a supervisor, she should have went and got the supervisor, and those other employees were unprofessional as well. You see the other guests who was getting checked in, they just looked at some of the other employees who was joining in and attending like, are y'all seriously doing that right now?
It was a hot mess, yeah. Don, your thoughts?
Hood rats begot hood rats. I can't stand this. The one thing in life that pisses me off more than anything is horrible customer service.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how angry the customer get, you are not to meet them on their level.
Come on, you better talk to the people.
Period. He could have been cussing them out, wearing them out. The only thing they needed to do was to step back, call the police, and let them handle it. But no, when you hire a hood rat, you get hood rat behavior. That's why these online interviews got to stop. Bring her back in. Let's see your resume. Who have you worked for? What's your education level?
Whew.
But just because he put his phone up doesn't mean you have to put your phone up, hood rat. And I looked it up. Frontier does charge for just talking to the desk agents. They charge $25 just to ask them a question.
That is crazy.
Now, it says that you have to get there an hour before the flight to check in using the kiosk to avoid the $25 fee. And I did research some things about what happened in this particular incident. He did agree to pay the $25. But at that point, the hood rats didn't want to serve him anymore.
Oh, my God. Woo, the hood rats. Yikes.
So, miss me with this. he could have did this, he could have did. Yeah, he could have done it, but he's the customer.
Mm-hmm.
Call the police. You don't stoop down to the what the customer is doing. So that means anybody that comes to that desk with an attitude, you're getting the attitude back with them.
Mm.
I can't stand these unprofessional ghetto, I call them the blacks. Not black people, not African Americans, but the blacks. They don't know how to act. Keep it professional, no matter what the customer says. Yes, sir, no, sir. That's why everybody needs to be trained by Chick-fil-A.
You better talk.
Because I don't care how bad of an attitude a customer gets with a Chick-fil-A representative, it's still my pleasure.
That part.
But you get what you get when you hire off Indeed.
Woo, child. Well, you know what? You said the Zoom interviews and all that kind of stuff. She was doing too much. She was like, you thought you was going to get on your flight. You thought you was going to get on your flight. Too much. I'm not going to check you in. I mean, too much, but you said it best. Hood rats. We're going to move on. Let me move on to this next story. I honestly don't know what to think about this whole Smokey Robinson situation. It's a lot. The man is 85, okay? The man is 85, and he's being accused of the unthinkable. So let me go ahead and share screen. Let me make sure I have this. Okay, we're going to see part of the press conference with their lawyers, and the Jane Does, they show up with dark sunglasses, masks on their face, but they filed as Jane Does. That confused me right there, but that's just me. Let's take a listen.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming here today. My name is John Harris, and this is my partner, Herbert Hayden, with the firm of Harris and Hayden. 3 of our 4 clients are present here today. They've been identified as Jane Does. There's one appearing remotely, who you can probably see on the screen. Also is Miss Guzman, who's interpreting for us today. This is to announce that earlier today in Los Angeles Superior Court, we filed a complaint against William Smokey Robinson Jr. and his spouse, Frances Robinson. The principal causes of action against Mr. Robinson in particular are sexual battery, assault, false imprisonment, gender violence, and creating a hostile work environment. Obviously, these ladies are identified in the lawsuit as Does, Jane Does 1 through 4, to protect their privacy, since the lawsuit involves sexual misconduct of the worst sort. We're seeking damages of $50 million. Obviously, no amount of money can compensate these women for what Mr. Robinson subjected them to. But given the gravity of Mr. Robinson's despicable and reprehensible misconduct that is further detailed in the complaint, this amount is clearly warranted. Our 4 clients have a common thread. They're Hispanic women who were employed as housekeepers by the Robinsons earning below minimum wage. As low-wage workers in vulnerable positions, they lack the resources and options necessary to protect themselves from sexual assaults throughout their tenure as employees for the Robinsons. Let me briefly summarize each of their individual claims. I repeat, I will not describe the details of the sexual assaults and rapes because they're too graphic and disturbing for this news conference. But you can read them in the complaints that we have provided with many of you today. Let's talk about Jane Doe number 1. She worked for the Robinsons for a little over a year, from January 2023 to February 24. Mr. Robinson first sexually assaulted and raped her in March of 23, as detailed in the complaint. What he would do was summons her to his blue bedroom, which you'll probably be hearing about later on. After having just showered, he would come out of the adjoining bathroom naked and proceed to force her to have sex with him against her will. He sexually assaulted and raped her in this manner 7 times. She quit in February 2024 because she could no longer endure these sexual assaults. Jane Doe number 2. She worked for the Robinsons from May 2014 to February 2020. Smokey Robinson's modus operandi was somewhat different with her. He would ask her to meet him in areas in the home where there were no cameras. There were 2 such places or areas in their Chatsworth home, the garage and the laundry room. When she would meet him at this location, he would immediately begin to sexually assault and rape her, causing her excruciating pain. He sexually assaulted and raped her in this manner 23 times. She was forced to resign because she too could no longer endure Mr. Robinson's sexual assaults. Jane Doe number 3. She worked for the Robinsons as a housekeeper from February 2012 to April 2024. Her story is quite similar to the others. Mr. Robinson would call her into his blue bedroom where he would sexually assault and rape her. This occurred approximately 20 times. And like the others, she quit in April of 2024 due to the repeated sexual assaults against her. Jane Doe number 4. She worked the longest as a housekeeper for the Robinsons from October 2006 to April 2024. He raped her in 3 of their homes, namely the Chatsworth home, the Las Vegas home, and the Bell Canyon homes. He had a preoccupation of fondling her breasts and touching her all over her body against her will. She too quit in April of 2024. The obvious question that one will ask, and I suspect most will, why didn't they report Robinson's criminal misconduct to law enforcement or go public before now? As I said before, these women were all low wage earners living from paycheck to paycheck. They all feared missing a payday and not being able to pay their rent or buy food for their families. Also, Smokey Robinson's celebrity status intimidated them and all made them feel powerless. I want to add that these 4 women were afraid of shame, familial humiliation, and embarrassment. The stigma that still exists in some cultures that unfortunately blames a rape victim for the assault perpetrated against them. And having to tell their husband and children of these despicable acts against them left them overwhelmed with shame and embarrassment. So throughout their dreadful experiences with Mr. Robinson, all 4 women remained silent because many of them worked at the same time. Too embarrassed to reveal their assaults by Mr. Robinson to each other. Once they broke their silence, an avalanche of emotions began to flow between them. Hence, they're all here today. These courageous 4 women have collectively decided to come forward and share their experiences of being sexually assaulted by Mr. Smokey Robinson and stand up for their rights, as well as the rights of other women. Particularly those that may be victimized by him in the future. We believe that Mr. Robinson is a serial and sick rapist that must be stopped. We further believe that these 4 women's testimony as to Mr. Robinson's sexual assaults and battery against each of them will be unassailable and compelling. Our clients, these 4 courageous women, want and demand justice for themselves, and the filing of this lawsuit is the first step of their journey to achieve that objective. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Herbert Hayden. I just want to echo some of the sentiments that you just heard from my partner, John Harris. We want to applaud our clients, these 4 women, for the courage that they've demonstrated since they've retained us as their attorneys to bring them justice, to bring to light what they have endured for countless years until they decided that they'd had enough and left the employment of the Robinsons. So with that being said, at this point in time, I'd like to take your questions regarding the case. We'll go right here with the...
What brought these women together? Did they share their stories together? Because it sounds like some of the employment overlapped. Did they know what was going on with each of them? And did that then cause them to say, wait a minute, this isn't just happening to me, we can come together as a group?
I don't want to get too much into the particulars of the initiation of the lawsuit. Obviously, the women all worked together. Some of their shifts did overlap, and there was a common thread between them that led to the filing of the lawsuit today. For any further questions, I direct you to our email address, press@harrishayden.com.
Can you talk about Frances Robinson's role in the alleged misconduct, what she did and what she is accused of?
Well, I think that the complaint speaks for it in great detail. We believe she was aware of the misconduct by her husband, Smokey Robinson, and that she used their status as well as our clients' reliance on their living wage in order to keep them in check. And so we believe that, among other things, is what brings Ms. Robinson into the case.
Do you expect that they will be filing charges will they file complaints with the police as well so that they can investigate this as a criminal matter?
We have not been contacted by the district attorney's office yet. Obviously, we're more than happy to cooperate as best we can.
Does a police report though have to be filed by the women in order for the DA to then proceed?
Well, again, no police reports have been filed by our clients as of yet, given their fear of having done so.
But where do you stand on that? Do you want your clients to file a police report now that they've retained you as their lawyer?
I think that's something that we need to discuss with our clients before we cross that path.
Because based on the disturbing allegations, don't you feel like this is something that law enforcement should investigate?
Well, I do think so. Yes, I do.
Are you able to identify Jada 1, 2, 3, and 4? Obviously not their names, but just who's who.
I'll let
No,
Mr. Harris.
we're not inclined to identify them as such and help in that regard. We want to maintain their privacy. And for that reason, we don't want to say who's 1, 2, and 3, and 4. You guys are good at what you do, and it wouldn't take long to figure it out.
Our purpose is to identify.
Okay, understood. But we're going to keep them anonymous as possible to ensure their privacy.
You mentioned their status being used against them. Are the women undocumented, and were they specifically threatened with their legal status?
So that is not an allegation that we're making. We believe that the fact that these women are Hispanic, they come from cultures that sort of demonize the accusers of rape and sexual assault, that that stigma was used against them by the Robinson. Obviously, the employer-employee relationship had a big factor in that as well.
But you won't comment on their immigration status?
Not at this time, no.
I do have a specific follow-up to that question. So in the complaint specifically, it says that one Jane Doe feared obviously losing their livelihood, familial reprisal, to also include the possible adverse effect on their immigration status. So you just said that you weren't claiming that. Can you clarify that?
Well, I think what we mean by that is that obviously within the Hispanic community, particularly in this climate, there is a fear of reprisal based upon any insinuation that there is an immigration issue. So I think that speaks for itself in their hesitancy in making that an issue in this case.
To come forward?
Correct.
Have you been able to obtain any photos or videos of any of these allegations taking place? I know that for one of the women, the allegations took place in 2 places you said where there weren't cameras, but it sounds like for some of the women took place in places where there are cameras, the blue bedroom.
Yeah, we do have evidence, although we're not sharing it at this point. We will probably later in the proceedings, but we do have evidence of some of the misconduct.
Evidence in the form of videotape?
I'm not going to comment, but we do have evidence.
Have you heard from Mr. Robinson himself? Has he responded to the complaint or any of the allegations?
No, we haven't.
Can you clarify the additional does, the 1 through 25, what that refers to?
That's just common practice. If more people come to light, it's just protecting the lawsuit in that regard. If we learn of other people that should be named.
I know that one of the women worked as long as 2012. Do you believe this behavior has gone on since 2012, long before that? Or?
We have reason to believe that this behavior has existed for many years. And I think giving the allegations, we're fairly confident that he's a serial assaulter.
Woo.
So were any of these women allegedly threatened? Were they told, don't say anything or else? Were they threatened with physical harm?
They were threatened. I won't go into the details, but they were threatened in various methods by Mr. Robinson.
And in the complaint, there's also the allegation that they weren't paid fairly or properly, correct?
That's correct.
Can you touch on that?
Well, for example, all of them, most of them, I would say, maybe not all of them, they worked 60 hours a week. They never got paid overtime. They were chastised by Miss Robinson if they tried to eat, if they tried to take breaks. And that's part of the allegation. Just the employer-employee relationship, they violated, we have alleged, numerous labor laws.
Mr. Hayden, were they essentially held prisoner in your view?
I don't want to say they were held prisoner, but I do think that they were beholden to the employer-employee relationship with the Robinsons, which left them in a conundrum of what they should do if they want to maintain their livelihood.
And I might add, one of the allegations is false imprisonment. When he was committing these acts, they did not feel free to leave.
We have a hiccup on our camera. Could you restate what you're asking for in terms of monetary relief? What do you see?
Well, $50 million.
How did you determine that?
It's just, we wanted to get his attention. It's a serious matter, and the assaults against these 4 women was horrendous and despicable, hence a big number.
And just to clarify, you're seeking $50 million total or?
Total, not each claim.
Okay.
Which of the allegations are specifically against his wife? His wife is named.
Yeah, well, all the labor code violations are against her. I'm sorry. All the labor code violations are against her as well.
I think the intentional infliction of
And the
emotional
intentional
distress,
infliction of emotional distress.
hostile work environment as well.
And what can you say about what ultimately made your clients decide to quit and their ability to quit? Was that something they got pushback? Was there ever an NDA involved in any of this work?
I'm unaware of an NDA. They just finally had enough. They couldn't take it anymore. And they just collectively decided to quit.
So are you claiming that Mrs. Robinson, his wife, knew about what was going on?
Well, we believe that there was some knowledge of prior misconduct of a sexual nature against other individuals against him. And we're alleging that she was aware of that and she took no preventive action.
Did any of them, as far as you know, come forward to his wife and say what was happening?
We understand that perhaps there were situations where they were resolved informally, that she knew or should have known of the allegations being made.
So I think with that, we're going to close the press conference now. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, what a mess. I just want to add a little bit more to this story. I'm not going to go through the whole article, but the day after they filed this lawsuit, the Daily Mail called Smokey, and he wasn't good. He was nervous. Smokey Robinson breaks silence on SA allegations with blistering 3-word response. The iconic singer Smokey Robinson raged, "I am appalled," when asked by the Daily Mail about claims he sexually abused multiple housekeepers. The Motown legend 85 then began mumbling incoherently after being contacted by phone Wednesday morning. He did not sound well. But Robinson became lucid again a few seconds later, ending the call by saying, "I can't speak about this right now." And the rest I'm not going to go through because they pretty much went through it in the press conference. And also, I read the case on my channel. You could go back to the previous video where I read the whole actual lawsuit. It's a lot. In my opinion, your thoughts?
So first of all, let me say this. I'm not a victim shamer, but I'm tired of people coming up and being a victim. I want to play victim. This is my thing. Money can't drive me. And money should never drive anybody else. Somebody hurts you, harms you, anything to you. That's the last day I'm working this job. And on top of that, I'm going to the authorities. Okay? I'm going to the authorities because I have a right to work in okay environment. I don't deserve that. Then you say you were working 60 hours a week. You're a housekeeper. How much could you have had to clean up? You dating and working 2 shifts. You couldn't hardly eat. So they should be some malnutrition people from what I'm hearing. Because they couldn't eat. They had to work 60 hours a week. How did you have time to get a message that said go to the garage, the basement, all these places? It makes no sense. Who stays this long? I don't know nobody who stays and constantly is being violated and you keep on taking it. You don't fight back at all. You don't bring no weapon so the next time you can defend yourself, nothing. You just keep taking it. You don't report it because the statute of limitation had ran out. They said the last time was in 2024. We just in 2025. So the statute of limitation ain't ran out. Why are you running to your attorney to get 50 million? Then why don't you run your behind to the police station and get him locked up? I really hate it when these people come out and tell their stories and it feels like a money grab. Because that's not going to protect nobody else. If this man was doing it to you, 4 of y'all that seem to cross paths since all y'all quit in 2024 and 2023. So all y'all had to cross paths. I just don't understand how y'all sat in it this long. He couldn't have did it to me the first time and it been okay. So I can't imagine how you sat here 23 times, 25 times. One of them was 21 times. It's too much. And then the wife was in on it too. And then you say they weren't saying that they was going to be deported, but they insinuated it. It's either they did or they didn't. Okay? It ain't no insinuating. It's either they did or did. So either you undocumented or you ain't. I'm really am. I'm just tired of these stories feel like a money grab. And that's what this feel like.
Ooh, thank you. In my opinion, Leo, your thoughts?
Oh, it's definitely a money grab. Cassie done changed the game. Today, yesterday's price is not today's price. These folks are not looking for justice. They're looking to get paid. And so I believe every bit of their story. So two things can exist. Yes, they should go seek justice from the justice system, but for all that we know, with the things that are going on now, they may think that getting paid is the justice. But this I tend to believe that they are undocumented. So I'm not quite sure of where this is going to go per se. I'm not sure where this is going. I believe every word. I do believe that Mr. Smokey Robinson, Green Eyes himself, was abusing the housekeepers. I do believe that. I do believe the wife was in on it. When I first heard it, I was not shocked. Diva was the first person to drop it that I saw and let me know that it was going on. And I don't really even see an outrage or an uproar about it. Maybe I missed it. I'm not quite sure. And either way, this has ruined his reputation for sure. This is a stain on his legacy for sure. So I mean, he 85. Can you imagine? 84-year-old man trying to girl, it's too much. It's definitely too much for me to even try to process. With them being undocumented, I think that says more about why this behavior was allowed and why he is shocked and appalled that some undocumented people will go somewhere and run their mouth about the abuse that he been giving these housekeepers and those before them for years, because I do believe it's been going on. And I hope he go ahead on and pay the money, and I hope they do end up somewhere at some old assisted living home, Shady Pine somewhere. Because if once they pay the money, I'm quite sure he gonna be about broke. So and lawyer fees and all this other kind of stuff. Yeah, I believe it, but it ain't no more justice in court. Everybody want their checks. That's what they want.
Oh, thank you, Leo. Julius?
Jeez. Not even Shady Pines want green eyes. Green eyes is sinister. I say this because the enemy is busy. And when you sometimes he's gonna reveal who his minions are. And I guess Smokey Robinson is a deviant minion. And his wife too. I will say I don't know. I tuned into the live diva when you first broke the lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember hearing nothing. And I'm just saying this to the chat to soothe everybody's mind. I don't remember about hearing nothing about no pregnancies or nothing like that.
Yeah.
So I just want to clear that up, and we're not going to start instigating rumors. We are going to stick to the facts because the facts is what we talk about.
Thank you.
And I want to coincide with Leo says just one point, if that's okay.
Yeah.
That man is going to be about broke. That's it.
I saw he was worth like 150 million, something like that. I got to check. So I'm not sure. My screen shifted. Don, you're up.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah.
This is a very sensitive topic, and I have a daughter. So I always, and I'm going to repeat the same thing, believe, but verify. You have cameras, they have evidence. Let's look at what facts they have. Believe, but verify. In all cases, no matter who it is, whether they have 200 million or $5. Always believe the victim. But let's get some verification on these facts. Because I'll just add this. Just the lawsuit damages his history. Whether it's true or not, just the fact of the lawsuit damages his history. Yeah, and I'll just leave it at that.
His history, his legacy, it does. Anti-Afro, thank you so much for the super chat. Now we know why Gene Hackman and his wife didn't want to hire any housekeepers. Listen, this thing is loaded. It's a lot.
Hey, Diva, can I say one more thing?
Sure.
So the one thing that happens, I think, in these cases is we don't get the verification before somebody's reputation is damaged. So when they put out these accusations, that's what they is until they proven. But while it's being proven, or while we in the process of getting it proven or not, these people's reputation are being damaged. And that's what I hate. I wish we had verification first before it's put out in the public. Because how can you get your career back once it's damaged? That stain is always going to be there. It sucks. Because what about the sons that we're raising? What if they get with a woman and this person claims that they did something to them and they didn't? Their reputation is ruined. It sucks.
Let me get Wayne in my opinion. Hold on. Wayne, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with the Don on this, believe and verify. Because how many times have they had a press conference or whatever with a witness and evidence, only to find out the witness end up not being credible? Gloria Aldridge, Tony Busby, they brought these witnesses in. and come to find out they was lying. I'm not saying these women lying, don't know. But what I would like to know, I mean, if they are undocumented, how you been here 20-something years and you haven't sought citizenship? They said they've been here 23 years and haven't sought citizenship. So, what's the there's due process, innocent until proven guilty. If they got evidence, and what gets me is that if you have credible evidence that a crime has taken place, why are you not telling these people go to the, if they can still file a report? I don't understand is why you're not filing a report. Help yourself out. And if these are the lawyers that's going to defend them, God help them. That's it.
Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, because Starsky and Hutch sitting up there looking like we in it for the money. And how much these women gonna get out of this lawsuit and how much they gonna get. And you saying it's not enough out of the anguish and the pain these women went through. But yet still, if you got evidence and stuff like this, why haven't you turned it over to the police? And then if that way he's brought up on criminal charges, it'll be more feasible that they would get the lawsuit money. So why are you holding on to the evidence? You got the evidence, turn it over to police so the police can criminally charge him instead of suing him. So what you're trying to do is intimidate to get the money first, and then it all be washed away. And then how all these women come together at one point anyway? Like, were they working together? Were they staying in the same house? How this one found this one found that one, and this one found this one. And then the fourth one was the one that got the other three to do this allegation. And then, as we said, I'm not saying an old man can't do anything. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying, what he getting all this, I guess the blue pill, I don't know. But anyway, I'm not saying he ain't did it, so don't come at me chat or whatsoever. But I'm just saying, why wait? He's 85 now. He was 70 something when you said that he was doing it. And I'm not saying he didn't do it because I don't know his past. Maybe he did do it. I don't know. But then you saying the wife know. How you sure the wife know? I mean, men do stuff all the time the wife don't know. And then if you went to this wife and told this wife, and y'all say y'all told the wife, and she didn't report it, now I can see something like that. But what you're coming at is not making sense. If you got this evidence, take it to the police department. And yes, Cassie, she didn't go to the police on Diddy either. And we get it. She stayed with him all those years because she was getting something out of the deal. She was getting money. So you working for these people 60, 70 hours, how many hours a week, and you not getting paid, and you still showing up to work? As much as work they have out for immigrants at these hotels and these other places, you can always get a job. They can always find jobs. So you stayed there this whole time and you wasn't getting paid. You working 60, 70 hours a week like you a slave, and you kept coming back to work. Then you getting grape at the same time. I don't know. Like I said, I ain't saying Smokey got no clean background because I don't know these people. But the stuff that y'all coming up with is really, it ain't making no sense. And that woman didn't look like she wasn't no small woman. Like she could fought Smokey Robinson. I mean, Smokey off as old as he was. But like I said, I don't know if they was intimidated or whatnot. But you're not intimidated now when Trump want to send the immigrants back cross seas. But you coming forward now? Mm-mm. I don't know how they all got together, where they all came from. Did this lawyer look them up and said that we can get money out of him to intimidate him to mess up his career? Because like I said,
I don't think it's that deep though with the lawyer. I listen. I want to say this. All of them worked for him, and one of them worked just weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The rest of them sometimes their shift overlap. So it seems as if they always had someone working in the house for them. And I personally think, because they said the wife treated them bad, I personally think the wife I'm gonna go out on a ledge. She knew what was going on, and I think she was mean to them probably because her husband was sleeping with them and not perhaps her. And what the lawyers are saying, what they're alleging is that there was people that were paid off before these ladies even came forth. So they're alleging that there was people that were paid off. This is who he is, and he's been doing this for a minute. I can't see grown people just coming up. We're gonna pick the blue room, which is in his house. We're gonna just pick this blue room and say, and we're gonna go together and go to a lawyer to say that he did this to us in the blue room. There's a lot of shame that comes with when stuff like that happens to you. And then unfortunately, even though it's a horrific situation, it became their norm until they had enough. I'm not excusing anything, but we do know of others, and we got to bring the cases that we know, right? Cassie kept going back until she had enough. Then all of a sudden, she left with her now husband. But
now, I did say Cassie was there and she didn't come, she didn't go to police either. I did say that. I'm not saying that this didn't happen. I'm just saying that it's just weird. And when they say Smoke got a pass or whatsoever, I'm not saying it didn't happen. All I'm just saying is how all of them got together and
they
decided to go do this.
Crossing shifts or whatever. It's the same way the Me Too movement happened with the Harvey Weinstein.
But I'm saying, but one of them working 60 hours a day, 60 hours a week. How they seeing the other ones? I mean, like, who's coming in? If you working 60 hours a week, how you seeing this other person? Because you working basically night and day.
The time overlapped, Katrina. The time.
Girl, this is messy. I don't know, Smokey. Yeah. Smokey, maybe you should have been cruising somewhere else. I don't know. This is crazy. This messed up for real.
The time overlap. Listen, for me, and various shifts. Yeah, come on, Savannah. Listen, for me, I think part of the situation is if I was Smokey being accused of this, when the Daily Mail called me, I'm not stuttering. I would say they all a damn lie. Y'all can speak to my lawyer, but they all a lie. I treated Betty right. I treated Diva right. I treated this one right. I treated that one right. In the actual lawsuit, they said they never got no W-2s. So at the very best, they are going to probably be found guilty of breaking labor laws. So at the very best, they're going to be found guilty of that. They never gave them any W-2s. They allegedly wasn't giving them breaks and allowing them to eat food. So on top of you allegedly violated me, yeah, and employees know each other and they talk with each other. There you go, Erica. Thank you. Who doesn't talk to their co-workers?
But see, they probably wouldn't get no W-2s if he was paying them straight cash.
But that's not legal.
I'm just saying that's what a lot of them do. They pay them straight cash. They don't pay them with no check. They pay them straight cash.
Well, that's
but I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying.
Right. I say, well, then he broke the law. And they gonna get, so now it's gonna cost him. So he didn't want to do the right thing. So now on the back end, he probably gonna have to come up off for $50 million. And I'm hoping, I mean, it's been a couple of days now, so maybe he's good. That nobody else comes out the woodworks. But like the lawyer said, yeah, his voice sounded like he was trembling anyway. Yeah, listen, it's a mess. Avoiding taxes. Yeah, that's what they was doing. Listen, this is a mess. I'm not here to say that these ladies are lying, but my thing to put out on the street is more people need to start going to the police. They really do. But I will also say this. When it comes to a celebrity, I'm going to give them credit on this. It is hard going to the police. I did a story. Maybe the story is about 2 years old. The girl, it was a football player. The girl went to the police. She showed her bruises. And because he was the famous football player in the town, they were doing nothing. I want to say it was in Florida. And they didn't do anything until she put cameras in her house, and that football player was slinging her across that living room with their baby in the playpen like she was a rag doll. And the only reason why he got in trouble is because she had video footage. But she went with bruises to the police prior to that, and nobody helped her. So when it comes to these celebrities, it's very tricky going to the police. I did another story, a football player, where he went to NYU. And what's the girl? She did a stint, I think, on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Her husband. He went to NYU, and the girl reported that he argued her when he was in college. In the college, NYU, and they got sued for it, and the person won. The college kept telling her, "Oh, he said he was sorry. Don't worry about it no more. It'll never happen again." So I know we all saying, and I say it too, why not go to the police? But some of them have very good reasons. Y'all got me. I ain't been in overtime in like forever. I'm gonna run this story real quick and get everybody this last story and get everybody's opinion real quick because we in overtime. I haven't been in overtime in like forever. But Diddy trial has started on Monday. They're looking for a jury. The prosecution, they're in trouble right now. Already they asked for more time to the judge. I don't know if the judge answered them yet, but to me, the judge has to say no because when Diddy's team asked for more time, the judge told him no. So Diddy trial, victim 3, never cooperative with feds, never wanted to testify. So the prosecution, how do you have a victim 3 on your docket and that victim 3 was never being cooperative? Federal prosecutors are taking a big gamble with one of their star witnesses in Diddy's sex trafficking trial because the woman they call victim 3 has always made it clear she does not want to testify, TMZ has learned. During the jury selection this week, lead prosecutor Maureen Comey admitted the feds do not know whether the alleged victim, one of Diddy's ex-girlfriends, intends to appear in court to testify against him. Comey said the woman does not live locally. There's an issue getting in touch with her attorney, and she may not even show up in court despite a subpoena. Our sources with direct knowledge say the woman has never cooperated with prosecutors and never gave them an indication she would be willing to take the stand during the trial. It begs the question, why did prosecutors add her to the Diddy indictment, and will they address her absence next week during opening statements? At this point, it's still unclear who prosecutors will call to testify at the beginning of the trial. Prosecutors have some big decisions to make with victim 3, namely, will they refer to her in their opening statement? If they do, and then she ghosts them, the jury will wonder what's going on. And that might be a big blow to the prosecution. As we reported, Comey said Monday prosecutors would not be getting into the woman's story until the second part of the trial. And during opening statements, the woman would be described as one of the many women who have allegedly been abused and sexually exploited by Diddy. The indictment labels her an alleged victim of sex trafficking. Cassie, another Diddy ex, has long been known to be victim 1, and she's expected to testify under her own name, though it is not clear when she will take the stand. She's already in New York City, out and about with a huge baby bump. Some fans estimate she's around 9 months pregnant. 3 of the 4 alleged victims in the case are former Diddy girlfriends, and in the court filings, prosecutors have said victim 2 is expected to deliver anonymous testimony about financial losses, dependency, and social isolation she experienced during their relationship, all which made her more vulnerable to his coercion. Victim 3 is not showing up. In my opinion, your thoughts?
Well, she got a subpoena. She better show up. This my thing. I don't understand is why did they wait till the last minute to do all this? Like, you knew the trial was coming up. Y'all was out here giving plea deals. Y'all should have got y'all ducks in the order. But that's all, Diva.
Thank you. Leo, your thoughts?
Diva, y'all, they say the third person is Gina. Y'all remember Gina, the girlfriend of Diddy?
I remember Gina, the one
I
he
know
stumped
what
in the
that
stomach.
is. Oh,
The one he stumped in the
Gina.
stomach.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what they saying. The third one, she has been very resistant to, because basically she's saying, this, to my understanding, she ain't getting paid. This getting ready to ruin anything that any relationship she could ever possibly have with him if she go there and do that. So the thing is, they are, if you done benefited from the treachery, and if you still a treacherous person, you're not going to publicly go nowhere and put your own treachery out there and his too. And especially if you're not going to personally benefit, from it. So I don't understand what the prosecution is doing. I would have never, because remember Gina got interviewed by Tasha K. And
yeah,
I
she.
would have never had seen her as a credible witness anyway. I don't understand why. I don't know what the prosecution is doing. They looking crazy. And this is the first part. So the defense got to put on their case. And I will be very interested in seeing what skills does the defense have to put on their case. Because as of right now, the prosecution is getting an F. And Cassie, I'm not quite sure with Cassie. I don't know if Cassie had felt a certain form of freedom when she first got her lawsuit, because this is the reason why I think she's pregnant. Now, this is just me, but I believe, once you done hit the jackpot of the millions and they still young people, I'm quite sure they wanted to have a big family. Anyway, once they got the money, I'm sure they was around there humping like rabbits. So even the baby was going to come anyway, because ain't nobody got to go to work. They done hit the jackpot.
Child, they done
So,
hit
I
the
mean,
spot.
yeah, so, I mean, that was going to happen anyway. Either way, that was going to happen. Either way.
Ooh.
So good luck to that man. I don't know what's gonna happen to him. It's all gonna be very interesting. But I appreciate you, D, because you keep me up to date while I'm at work, child.
You're welcome. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yes, Diva be working hard, girls. She work hard on these streets. Anybody that like I tell y'all all the time, it's not what you know, what you can prove. Anybody go on that stand for that prosecutor and don't have an immunity, they setting themselves up to they gonna take Diddy's spot. Because if they come out and because Cassie was the one that was calling the sex workers. Gina, she was online fighting with Young Miami about Diddy. So if any of them come out with come to this court with these stories, they better have straight immunity. Because if not, they gonna get locked up. Because they were doing the treacherous stuff right along with Diddy. They was bringing in the sex worker. Look at Young Miami, what she was doing. Look at Lil Rod, what he was doing, putting on a hat, going down there to the place and bringing the girls back. If any of them get on that stand, they better have straight immunity, because all of them gonna end up going to jail themselves, because they committed crimes right along with Diddy. Diddy was smart. He sent them out there to do the work. He stopped back and waited. You don't see Diddy was saying he paid this and paid for that. Cassie did this. You don't see Diddy saying that he went out to get girls. Lil Rod did this. Young Miami, she brought her cousin in and stuff happened with that. They was the ones that's out here doing this stuff, even though, Diddy was the puppet master, but he had them on the strings and they was out there performing these acts. And now if the end of them go on that stand, they better have straight immunity, because every last one of them gonna be taking Diddy place in that jail or that prison, wherever he at. But that's all I got, Diva.
Oh, Julius. So wait, hold on, because somebody said, who's witness number 2 then?
This is a hot mess. Now, the thing with the prosecution, they got the gall because wasn't Diddy's team just so no, there's no delays? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they want to ask, no, May 5th came and passed, and look here, y'all, we stay in the course. Now to all this foolishness. Yes, Diddy is a downhole, dirty dog, cornhole dog. Yes, he all of that and then some and everything. But these people are something else for dealing with them. And constantly going back and dealing with them. That's it. That's all.
My screen shifted. Wayne, your thoughts?
You know, I guess subpoena don't really mean too much because Jim Jordan's sitting in Congress and he's been subpoenaed and it's been over a year. And he still hasn't showed up for the subpoena. So, but I agree with Leo. This one probably say, it's nothing in it for me. It's nothing in it for her. So why is she gonna show up? You know, her stuff with, you know, maybe already brushed over, whatever, you know, she good now. So he said, I ain't showing up. I don't blame her. That's it.
Thank you. So, Leo,
I think, hold on, Diva. I think the house manager might be number 2. Remember they said they was bringing in that the lady that was over him. That was
the house manager is not a girlfriend. They said 3 of them are girlfriend.
I thought it was Young Miami.
I thought Young Miami was, I don't know, child. These folks is crazy. I don't know. They, like I said, they better get immunity.
I thought Young Miami was number 3, the one that wasn't coming through. But now that Leo said they think it's Gina, now I can roll with that. I think Gina's not coming because she ain't built for all this. But if Young Miami is number 2 and she actually going to show up, that's going to be a circus to me. That's going to be a circus because Young Miami was in these streets talking about she love it, she like it, she liked to go to showers, she liked her $300,000 allowance she was getting every month. So if it's Young Miami, that's going to be wild.
And then her and Gina was fighting over the internet, remember?
Not Young Miami.
It was Young Miami and Gina. You know, she was telling Gina that yes, it was Young Miami and Gina that was fighting over the internet over Diddy. Go back, Deep. You know I come with the facts, girlfriend.
I thought Gina was fighting. I remember Gina was fighting with Cassie. She was mad that she got replaced by Cassie. You could be right. No, they saying they saying it's true. They saying it's true. What about Dawn? Dawn Richard wasn't a girlfriend though. She wasn't a girlfriend. So they're claiming that there's 3 girlfriends, and the 4th person, I believe, is Little Rodney. I believe the 4th, Young Miami is going to be wild, Diva. Yeah, this whole thing is going to be crazy. But listen, guys, chat with me. You know, continue your conversation. Y'all got me in overtime. I ain't been in overtime in many moons, but I appreciate y'all being here for the conversation. It was all good stuff. Listen, guys, this is going to be something y'all know. I'm following the Diddy trial. They didn't have court today, and I was trying to think why they didn't have court today, but I think they didn't have court today because they knew the Pope was going to be appointed. I guess that's the right thing. So to all your Catholics out there, you got a new Pope. Congratulations. Listen, guys, if y'all didn't hit that like button on the way in, hit it on the way out. Good night. Goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.